Okay, we have a motion and a second for the minutes. Any discussion? And all in favor of approval? Aye.
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 Okay, that's 3 ayes. It is unanimous. And we will do July 17th. Okay.
All right, July 17th.
Awesome. And coming down. Boy, I thought I made a comment on something, but I must not have.
No, I did that.
I think we're going to get into a little bit of a discussion later on how to make sure we're properly correcting and saving our editing. So we'll get with Erin in a little bit and make sure we're all doing what we need to. Does anyone remember anything major from these minutes, or are we comfortable enough approving them? Because if we're not, we can take a moment to read them again. Is everyone okay? Then I'll entertain a motion to accept.
I think I'm just doing a couple of small, I did right where my cursor is, it said Town of Bluff P and Z. There was a C right after it. Services was misspelled. I think those were some of the only edits that I had made.
Okay.
Just some spelling errors.
Okay. I kind of agree with you on that. I suppose if anybody finds something major, we can always bring them back to the table if something happens, but I agree with that. Okay.
I'm going to approve Thursday, July 17th, the work session minutes as presented.
I'll second.
We got a rhythm going here, guys.
Yeah, we do, don't we?
And any discussion on the motion? Okay, all in favor, aye.
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 Okay, motion carries unanimously. Thank you, everybody. Next on the agenda is an update from Town Council. Luann, are you up?
Sure. Yeah, so last time I updated you was July 3rd. We had a work session and a couple of meetings. Our next work session, we are going to be addressing quite a few ordinances, including the animal ordinance, the noise, the idling, estrays, which are the loose horses and cows and things. We're not doing anything with because the state of Utah is a fence out state.
Oh, wait, you cut out. I'm sorry, Luann. The state of Utah, what?
It's a fence out state.
Right.
So there's nothing that we can't write an ordinance saying that you have to keep them in. So that's on our next work session, the start of it anyway. Thanks to Malia, we're doing some retrofit lighting in the community center here and got some bids in. And so that's moving right along. There are 2 conventions coming up. The Utah League of Cities and Towns convention is October 1st and 2nd. And that's always a good one to, work with other planning and zoning people and other commissioners on councils and whatnot. And it's usually up north somewhere, not sure where, but it's October 1st and 2nd. And then the 2025 Utah Bicycle Summit, it's a convention August 14th, which is coming right up. They are the ones that are really focused on the transportation issues in towns, communities. They have this new thing they call stroads, where people are combining streets and roads and trying to go fast on a road, but you're on a street, and the street lights and all the rest. So there are a lot of interesting things. So far, I don't know of anybody that's going. If it were closer, I would definitely like to be there. But that's August 14th. Like Utah, you can find all the information there. We've moved to burning stage 2, which means no open flames. You can still do barbecue thing, but you can't do charcoal. You can't do flammable sorts of stuff. It needs to have shut off. So because of the dryness, and you can't smoke where there's open grass, dry land around. You can't grind or weld if there's dryness around. So that did bump to stage 2 from stage 1, matching the state. So, and that's on our website too, to look and see, but that's basically what it is. It's just no open burning, no campfires, even if you have a permanent site. And so the old school, the cultural Community Center. That I believe I updated you before, that agreement has all been dissolved, so Town of Bluff is free and clear ownership of it. Malia and the group are all working with Uncommon Architects still at this time to move forward, and then hopefully the EPA grant will get through the court process and maybe be reinstated. But that is coming right along. They are leaving the modulars there. UDB had the option to take the modular units, but they are going to stay put. Then the Citizens Academy with Utah Highway Patrol is Brian Robinson. He came and did a presentation Tuesday, and what they're doing is doing a program where they invite local leaders and to come and kind of role play and see what the deputies and the cops are up against when they meet up with all the scenarios that you meet up against. And they would really like town council, planning and zoning people. I asked about fire and he said he'd love to have fire. Aaron introduced that over to them last night. There's 4 meetings, August 21st, 28th, September 4th, and September 11th. But he's trying to build trust and respect. He did this program over in some other place, somewhere up out of the county. He's grown up and worked in Monticello for a long time, but this is a program that he brought over. So he was really inviting everybody, but he really prefers that everybody show up to all 4. But like one of them is role playing. They bring in somebody, they allow or provide alcohol to get people inebriated and then practice the breathalyzers and do some role playing of people coming at you and whatever. So they're gonna do a school section. One of these will be in Bluff. The 11th probably will be in Bluff. The middle 2 are in Blanding and the first one's in Monticello, 6 o'clock, 2 hours. Let's see, the quiet title on the 6th West Alley, we discussed a little bit last time. That was, the county did give away that public space and there doesn't seem to be anything we can do to keep them from not keeping it public. So that has moved on. We did ask them to sign something that they wouldn't also try to get 6th West Alley along with their 4th South Alley. So that will be coming through. Bluff Waterworks made some repairs. We had a drop in pressure couple times, and this last time it was sensors again. It's kind of a computer problem that kind of takes over having to check it every day, which is what used to have to happen. They did make the repairs just this week, so that should be in good shape. CIB list is due again in October, and we've got things on the list, but that will be where you can kind of put them up a little higher. I know the old school's on there, possibly the repaving of the road through on the old highway. But that's comes up again, comes up quarterly, I believe, to put those forward and say, hey, we would really like you to consider helping us on this or that project. The park at the community center, Malia's also been working on those and has bids for pickleball court and the playground coming in. So that's moving right along too, and got interest in helping to do it, which is great. We did have a request for the community center up here, and this applies to planning and zoning mostly because, as you know, it's zoned in a residential area. They wanted to go hold a dance like they used to in the old days, and stay open until 1 o'clock. And then they said, well, maybe 12 would work, but we stuck with the rules of 10 o'clock. But they put posters up on 160 over Cortez, Mexican Hat, Monument Valley. They put posters everywhere directing people here in the old days, and this was already on Facebook and stuff, but that's 10 o'clock is the cutoff. And we discussed the old school is down on a commercial zone. Maybe in the future we can host some of those things, but okay. That wasn't very short, sorry, but are there any questions?
I have a clarification, or not a clarification, a follow-up on the last item. That group did cancel.
Okay.
So there shouldn't be anyone here tomorrow night, and of course, the doors will be locked, and so if anyone does show up, they'll know to turn right back around, unfortunately.
Okay.
Question, I guess, for the other commissioners, and if anyone's planning on attending the Utah League of Cities and Towns, October 1st and 2nd in Salt Lake.
I love those conferences and have been before, and I would like to check up on it online and figure it out. I just don't know my schedule well enough. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to answer, but I'm going to try to figure it out.
Yeah. I know that when we looked a couple of weeks ago, they didn't have any of the workshops posted yet, so I was curious what those were gonna be. But
Right.
I am also interested, I feel like I'm doing so much travel this fall that I don't know if I wanted to go somewhere again.
Right. No, definitely the travel aspect is difficult. I can just tell you that when I was doing the trips with the county up to, these meetings, they're all really beneficial.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, our schedule is not in cement. It's just busy or committed, I guess. Okay. Any more comments? Go ahead, Luann.
I do have one other comment that I did not mention on here is the TAP grant is what is it? TAP,
All I think of is taxpayers access.
it's the other sorts of travel, besides highway travel, besides the vehicle travel, right, sorry.
Trains, automobiles, planes. How's that?
No, it's the active transportation part. That's what I was thinking, back to the other convention that's coming up is this.
Okay.
So on, but it looks like the UDOT got the grant from the federal government to do this.
Transportation Alternatives Program.
Thank you, Transportation Alternatives. And so they have money, and so they've put out an invitation to the town of Bluff to see if we had anything that we wanted to put in. And what we're considering is the project through the old highway where it leaves from Third, the street that comes up here to the community center, and then goes down through past the fort and the fire station and the old school, and then out by the bank and out by Twin Rocks. That is the project that we've got on the CIB list for possible paving, and so it did not consider pedestrian and bicycle use. So this is one that would kind of dovetail with that project and put more interest on both the paving and the walkway. So Jones and DeMille's working on a bid, or not a bid, but an estimate of what that would cost, and it is a match to the town if we get it. So
Cool.
It's not a whole grant write-up, it's just here's what we want to do, here's the estimate from the engineer, what it would cost. They've done the same thing down at Sand Island with that trail, that ADA trail, so it should be a pretty easy turnaround, a lot easier construction up there, but it is due the end of the month. And so they'll get the estimates and try to put something together, and they're giving us an estimate on how much the estimate will cost, and hopefully that would be nothing. But anyway, yeah, sorry.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Luann. Okay, anything else for town questions? Okay, let's move on to the building department. Kristen, thank you so much for joining us. Where are we at?
There's not a whole lot to report. We did do quite a bit with the interns while they were here this summer, so we got a lot of resources put together. Josie did a great job, and then Sam's been getting them online. We have a few things we're still working on moving forward. We're going to be relooking at the building ordinance and the land clearance and site plan ordinance and associations with those this fall. And so we're hoping to get on that public hearing for middle of October so that those can be in effect January 1. So that's one way forward. The turquoise is trying to make progress. So we have a big meeting set up here in a few weeks. That's about it. We're just chugging along. Everything's in place. So we're kind of smooth sailing.
Have we received any requests, LUC type things that you've seen that didn't come through us? You don't have anything pending, correct?
No, but I will say the last 2 weeks, we have had a ton of people. I've had a ton of people call me that want to move to Bluff. And I don't know why the last 2 weeks, all of a sudden, there's just been this huge influx of, I want to live in Bluff. What's building like, where's their land, where's their builders, architects, engineers, all the above.
Salt Lake City, yeah, okay.
Salt Lake City. And so just know maybe we're going to see some growth here because there's been a lot of interest. I will say that one of our biggest hurdles, as everybody knows, is everybody's out of Salt Lake. And I think it's hard for people to realize how far out they are here. And Marcia knows this well right now. Like, you need medical, you're not staying in Bluff, you gotta ship out. And so there's just little things that it's still pretty much the retirement community wanting to move in, but just know there's been a huge influx of people trying to figure out how to get to our town. So we're trying to streamline processes to make that possible because a lot of them would be valuable members to our community.
Thank you. I had something listed under other, but I know that you like to get offline as soon as you're done with. So I wanted to bring up one, and that is one of the things we talk about is the planning and zoning commissioners are often approached, or town council members, or that are often approached individually. How do I do this? Where do I get this paper? What am I supposed to do next? And I hope that we all know we're allowed to answer that. We're allowed to say, hey, please go online and get the copy of this, or please, if it's a building question, call Kristen. So I just wanted to say that if in fact we do that, it behooves us to let one another know what's going on, or, if something is really sort of in the works. So having said all that, I just wanted to say I walked over to Galen's place, I can't even think, and handed him the subdivision paperwork because he said, what do I have to do? And received a phone call then from Jones and DeMille. And the phone call, of course, went through Erin through the town hall, and she passed it along to me. So I am going to tell you that it's much like the phone call that Kristen has, which is, what do I do next and where do I go? So those are the kinds of things I just feel like we should just let each other know what's out there. We do not have paperwork from them. They are working on it. Jones and DeMille asked, what's next? And I said, there you go. So those kinds of things are happening. We have another friend in town who bought a piece of land in town, is excited to do something, but not yet. It'll be a while. So I think just conversation wise, we're just sort of keeping up with what's happening in town. And there you go.
Our website looks very different than it did even a few weeks ago. And so getting familiar with that new stuff is good.
Good.
We might there's somebody who wants to do a bunch of RVs. So I'm working through that with them, but possible rezone so they can do that. We'll see. But that's about all we have kind of pending.
Great.
One thing to note on that one, Kristen, since we do have the RV ordinance with legal counsel right now, that might be one that we want to circle back on, just because it's possible that RV ordinance could be in effect by the time they're doing stuff.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, does anyone else have comments, questions, or ideas for building department? Awesome. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes, Gary.
In looking at our website and the flow chart, it still says in a couple places that San Juan County, we have to contact San Juan County Building Department to get a permit.
Where is that in? Okay, so
It's on the
that was like on planning and zoning. And then what's bad is like I'm sure it's in the zoning ordinance and everything too.
Well, so that's one of the updates that's on me and Corey's radar. And we'll do this all at once, but in a lot of our ordinance documents, it says contact San Juan County.
Maybe
So
I
we'll
can
need
do,
to update that.
maybe I can do like a pop-up. Actually, I don't know if I can do pop-ups in this WordPress, but like a pop-up if you're going to our building department or to planning and zoning, that just is like, uh, our departments have changed, and then just like give a little bit of contact information. I mean, clearly we're going through updating the ordinances right now, like, yeah, that's been replaced, or is in the process of being replaced.
Cause yeah, that's the one that comes up.
Yeah, so
But-
no, it's just trying to get all these different spots. The good news is Kristen is the San Juan County Building Department, so.
I mean, that turns out to be kind of handy. on both sides.
It's actually very helpful, but yeah, that's a good.
I'm
point.
amazed I'm still here. Let's be honest.
Thanks, Rach.
But no, Gary, if you find those, would you just shoot me a quick email that's like, hey, page 3, just so, I mean, we're doing a fine tooth comb of it, but it will be helpful to just double check and say it
Yeah,
still
so-
says this here.
Just
And
put
to clarify-
Cinnamon up in the search bar when you open it and see.
Well, so to clarify, so for ordinances or documents, tell Kristen. For anything on the website, tell me. So if like the website is routing them somewhere wrong, tell me. But yeah, if it's like deep in an ordinance, let her know.
Great.
Oh my gosh, so much to catch. So much to catch.
So
Okay.
much change in the
But
last.
thank you all for working so hard to do that. I love the fact that we're coming into the 21st century and tying it all together where it needs to be. So thank you. Okay, any more building questions? All right, we are going to, yeah, thank you, Kristen.
Yep.
We're going to go on to update on file management and Zoom. And I'm gonna start the conversation by saying Zoom shouldn't be so bad because 99.9 of us or percentage of us have done Zoom since the COVID days when the world shut down and we had to go on something. So I'm not quite as intimidated, although there are a couple of new little boxes or something. But anyway, Zoom is Zoom. What I'm more concerned with for my personal growth is the file use. And I called Malia one day and just went over a couple of things with her. The bottom line is I downloaded the file you sent us, Erin, and it's called the Sam Bouchard file or whatever. But I don't quite know where to put it and how to use it. Malia and I tried a couple of things, but as you heard this evening, it appears that we're all losing some of our edits or something somewhere. So I'm going to shut up now and let you sort of direct us of what you want us to know.
Do you want to share your screen like this, or do you want me to share
I just did.
mine?
It's all-
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so I
Or
will,
if it makes it easier for you to do it so that you can click and around.
I'm in the same spot right now, so if it's okay, I will take control.
Okay, I'll stop my share and you can.
Sorry.
That's all good.
Sorry. All right, so first and foremost, I think it's important that you know how to get here, so you can always go through, and if this gets too much involved, we can like move this to a work session, or I can do one-on-one tutorials with you. But first and foremost, this is out on OneDrive, so if you go and you're logged into your email, like you guys would be logging in for planning and zoning, and then you're going to, where am I even going? Outlook.office.com. So you're like in your emails here. This is going to be under OneDrive live or .live login. I'll send this link to you and then I would just bookmark this. Sorry, there's a little bit of a delay on my screen. So you're gonna log in like you're logging into your email. It's the same credentials. Again, don't forget your domain change. Okay, so I've got a lot of stuff in mind. Yours hopefully is a little bit more straightforward. Yours is gonna look like Bluff PNZ. Now you can go out and create other documents if they're for the town, you're welcome to do that. But but you're pretty much gonna be in this Bluff PNZ file. So similar to Google, these are all shared documents. So I think probably where we're potentially seeing that things are not saving is if two of you were in there at the same time, potentially. There are versions that are probably saving over one another. So the key is if you all are in a meeting together and making changes, only one of you is going to be able to make edits at one time. So there's going to be just one version history. I know in the past we have had people and like everyone's adding everywhere. That is not an option as far as I'm aware for OneDrive. And again, just as a reminder, the reason we moved over to this system is because of our ability to manage files, how they need to be managed from like the state regulations. So again, I understand it's not a perfect system and there are some changes based on what you're familiar with, but there are a lot of security reasons why we are in what we're in. So I think what is possible is that multiple people were in the same file at the same time, and probably whoever was in it last won. And so it's their version that's out there. Now, you can create copies of files, so it could be like Malia's version or Gary's version or Marcia's version. That kind of defeats the purpose of having a shared file, of course. But it should, and this is a should, usually the files that I'm in, not other people are in. But what we could do is we can go and double check what it's doing. So if we go into your agendas, for example, and I don't see this one here, so I'll show you in just a second how let's just do that right now. So I'm going to create or upload a new file. So I'm going to upload the one that I just made for PNZ regular meeting agenda. So I just went to here and I clicked upload. So super simple. If you have it saved to your desktop, it can go there. And then we're going to find it here. So here I've generated a new one. Now you can also like create a new file just directly in here. So instead of uploading a file, I can just say, oh, I want to create a new Word document. And then it's just going to open a new tab for me. And then I'm in Word and I've got my own thing. Now I am going to want to make sure that I go up here and rename it. So this is test file 1, 2, 3, 4. And once Sam is going to be with the organization like another 2 or 3 days. He's turning in his computer, his time with us is done. All of this will move over to me. So it's going to be, I mean, it's still weird to have it be someone else's files, but it is going to be the town manager. So you'll probably see that it belongs to me, and then you'll get in there that way. So that's why it says Sam Bouchard right now. But I'm going to go save it in here. And that way I know that I have a new document and it's saved. But back to here, what it should do is it should say if someone is currently in that file. So you would know if you were moving into it, if someone else is in it. So for example, Malia.
What are you in? You in minutes?
Let me go into agendas and let me go open. Give me a second to open it first.
Okay.
I'm gonna open the one from today that I just uploaded.
The 8/7 regular.
And when you go over to it, does it say that someone's in it right now?
Would it say it under activity?
It would probably say it under activity or potentially even just like modified by.
Saying about a minute ago.
Interesting.
Over.
Gotcha. So it doesn't show
Looks like
that.
it's still loading. Though.
When you reopen it, or yeah, try to go in there.
While she's looking for that, where do you go to OneDrive from?
Yours is somewhere different entirely, so I'll show you.
I do see that you're in it. It does have your name.
Yeah.
Your EN
Gotcha.
on page 1. It has where you are.
Okay. So Marcia, with you online, okay. So Malia Collins. So I'm sharing my screen with Marcia right now. So see here, Marcia, where it says MC, Malia Collins is also in this document.
Yep.
So our issue would be is if I went and, so the other thing too, is it's gonna auto save this document. So I think when you were accessing it, like, were you accessing it on your OneDrive on your computer maybe? Because that would be the only other thing that I can think is that.
Just now? No, I actually opened it on the browser because I wanted, in case we did need to show this.
So
I think,
But previously, the planning and zoning one, were you on your OneDrive on your computer?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's probably the issue. Sorry, we're gonna troubleshooting. So for those of us who have town computers, we have a separate OneDrive, which is what I'll show them later. It is possible that we will be able to solve the issue for you virtual users and you can just make changes as you make changes. Malia and I, maybe we can do some testing offline to
Mhm.
confirm that, so we don't waste everyone's time today.
right,
But when you're online, it should just automatically be saving. See here, like it doesn't even give me the option to save it. That's because it's auto saving it as I'm making changes.
Sure.
Now, we will be able to go back through and like, if we really mess something up, we can go back through to previous versions. But for the online users, I'm thinking that maybe you will still be able to make changes in the document and have other people make changes at the same time. But just we on our offlines, we can discuss, so you and I can
Yeah.
work on that. So all of the documents that should have been in Google are now on OneDrive. If you are seeing anything that you're missing, please let me know as
No,
quickly as possible. 'Cause-
yeah,
Oh,
I
go ahead.
didn't,
Sorry.
no, that's okay, Erin. I didn't feel like we lost anything, or, I mean, I think this is the planning and zoning files. That's not to me the problem. It became, where is it in my computer and where does it save my changes? So you're explaining some of that, and what I need to do is go through it again at my, on my time and try and find putting it in the right place. Because as I mentioned, all I did was download it just so I wouldn't lose it, but it's still, I just don't know where to put it. The file,
Yeah.
you know.
So since you all, so it's really unique. So since you all are part of the organization, you have Town of Bluff domain email addresses, but you aren't on a Town of Bluff device like Malia and I, you are not going to want to save things. If it's giving you the option to like download a file to your computer, or if it's bringing the folder down to your computer's desktop level, that's not where you want to save stuff. You do want to be in this online application, like what I'm sharing on my screen right now, because
And where do I get there? How do I get there?
Gotcha. So if you're in your email, like if you're
Okay.
in your planning and zoning email,
Okay,
let's see if we can get here from here. I might just have to send you a link that you'll need to share. Let me see if I can get it. Okay. Are you guys still able to see my screen?
yes,
Okay, awesome. So on the side here, it's gonna be this little cloud,
right, the
and the
iCloud,
little
yep. I
cloud
need
should
the-
take you to OneDrive.
Okay,
And then you are gonna go to shared and shared with you. So this one was not shared with me, or it was shared. So it should be shared with you, and it's the Bluff P and Z folder. And then once you're in there, then you're good. Any of those documents you can get into, you can make changes to. Now you can always like download a document and print it, but you're going to want to work in the online environment because that is the shared environment.
right, which is
Does
what
that
I
make
was trying to
sense?
do. I think I'm looking to Brian and I working on the energy stuff, and you know, it's like if we're both open, he's at his place, I'm at my place, and we both open up, then we can follow it, but only one of us should be typing, is what you're saying, which is fine.
I think let's go with that. Let's go with that direction for right now. I
Right.
am thinking that Malia and I can do a little bit more testing to see if our theories are correct about online only users. But yeah, for now, have one of you be a typer and one of you be a viewer, and then go from there. But yeah, so if you're in your Outlook, just go to the little cloud OneDrive, and that's where it'll be saved.
Okay, I'm gonna play with this tomorrow or whenever we're coming home to Bluff for the weekend, and I'll play with it over the weekend, but then we'll be gone by Sunday night. So I will call you in a panic if I'm not figuring this out.
That's totally fine. And you guys shouldn't have too much in your OneDrive right now, but you can always
No.
add, once you find the file, like either favorite it, and then it can like just help it move to the top so you don't lose it.
Okay,
And
okay,
that's the little star, and you can just select
Okay.
that. but yeah, I'm here to help. Let me know if you're not seeing stuff, but I probably will sunset Google here like in the next week. So if you really think that there's something missing, please let me know. But I think we're in pretty good shape. So, and
I
then
do too. I wasn't worried about losing anything except my way. So,
no, totally, totally. And then yeah, for Zoom, I'll keep leaving these. I'm not sharing anymore right now. Good, okay. I'll keep leaving the little like, hey, you're in the wrong spot, go to Zoom for almost all of the meetings over the next couple months to make sure that we're capturing the right people. For those who are doing the meeting agendas, please make sure that you're updating the contact information, the website, and the Zoom links as you're doing the agendas.
okay.
Sweet, thank you. Takes a
Okay.
team, thanks team.
Erin, thank you. I anticipate that we'll all be caught up here shortly. I'm a perfect example of someone who understands everything you say and then have to make it work. So,
No, you guys
yeah,
have been rock stars. I appreciate it. And it was like like
abrupt.
helter skelter, but we made it. We made it. We're there. We're in a Zoom
Well,
meeting. Everyone's winning. Right? We
all
did
right.
it.
Does anyone else have a question or comment for Erin? Or do we think we have enough information to go home and play and then call in a panic? Is everybody okay?
Yeah.
I love the call in a panic idea. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, no, I'm calling you, honey, so don't, What? Okay, thank you. All right, Erin,
Okay.
that was great. Okay, let's move on to the land use clearances are next on the agenda. I think we've all decided we haven't seen any. Is everybody good? Do we have anything I don't know about?
Agreed.
Okay. In that case, I actually did miss one, and that was I'm sorry, I circled it and as if it were done, but it's not. We missed the one that says renewable energy ordinance.
Yes.
And I would like to update us all where we are. Brian and I have been in contact with SoulSmart. We have a meeting scheduled for August 18th. And I should explain that that comes, of course, from people being gone, people being out of town, people not being able to respond. So Sarah gives us a couple of open dates and times, and that's the one we can best do.
Perfect.
Fortunately, that comes right before our work session. So hopefully then Brian and I are going to have some answers. However, if you noticed in your emails tonight, this afternoon, or maybe even last night, I sent along to you what we have so far from SoulSmart. So there are two things for me to do tonight. One, I would suggest if people have time that they flip through some of the SoulSmart examples because they match up nicely to where we are in a draft ordinance. But what doesn't match or what information is hidden in all those things might help us fix ours. And Sarah at SoulSmart on the 18th is in fact supposed to say, here's what's missing, here's what we need to do. So we're looking for guidance from them, but we should be ready for that guidance. So I sent you the links that SoulSmart sent us. And if you get a chance for some light reading, it'll be really helpful for discussion purposes. That was number one. Number two, I'm going to ask Malia for a favor. And that is, I know that you have backed off of the energy ordinance in terms of all the other things on your plate. But can I ask one favor of you with your famous charts that if you get a minute, and don't, obviously you're at your desk all the time anyway, if you were to take off the ones that we mentioned last time you and I worked with Sarah, meaning like the flicker, the study, remember how we said a couple of those things just aren't even necessary? And the only reason I'm asking is that you have done the charts in such a way that you know best how to edit them. And that way, as we're looking at them, we're not distracted by the things we don't need.
Mhm.
So Does it feel comfortable that I ask you just for one little favor of checking your chart?
Yeah, I can do that. I might
Okay.
I might call with some questions and clarifications of this. Did she say remove this? But yeah.
I'd be happy to do that. We're only busy in the mornings. Vaughn's busy till whatever it is, 10:30, and then I'm free, I'm actually free then too, but it's harder
Yeah.
to talk. The idea is I want to be as ready as possible to work with Sarah as opposed to just go, what do you think? So I thought if our chart was closer and our notes were sort of in our head, then she and I, or Brian and I, can talk with her. Then at the work session on the 21st, when it comes to items for the next agenda, I believe we should be able to make some more presentation / decisions into our draft.
I like it.
Okay, does everyone sort of follow that one?
Mhm.
Sarah's been very sweet, and of course Brian's been gone. I know Malia's going to be gone. I'm gone. This has just been really crazy. It's vacation time. We can pretend we're all from France, and France just closes down for August and travels. All the French people travel, so we're all traveling. Okay, any more renewable energy questions or comments?
I have one. You didn't try to send it to any of us town council. You just
That-
sent it to P and Z.
That's true. Do you think I think it's
I
not.
think it's fine. It's fine. I think you guys can sort through it, but I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss it.
No, you're right, Luann, and I really didn't think we're ready to show you anything. I think after this work session of the 21st, we could say, hey, guys, here's where we stand with our draft, and that way the town council would be sort of catching up and ready for discussions. So that will be a good idea soon.
No, I think your timing is fine too, because it is right before the work session. You don't have a big lag and, I
Right,
think,
right.
I think it's fine. Yeah, thanks for coordinating it.
No
Yeah,
problem.
thank you.
Thank you. All right. Now we said renewable energy. Now the agenda says land use, and we already decided we don't have any clearances. So we have items for the next agenda. And for the next agenda, we know we want the energy and the energy ordinance. And does anyone have anything else we talked about that wouldn't be on the normal schedule?
Yeah, so our next one's a work session. I don't know, all of those ordinance you talked about, Lou, are any of those gonna come to planning and zoning? Or are those all town council? From my understanding, they're all town council, so we're gonna be able to, we don't have to even think about those.
And I think they're town council, but you've been working more closely with the mayor.
I think so. I think when Kristen and Corey start digging into like the overlap of planning and zoning, town council, building department, I think their stuff is probably gonna come to you all.
Yeah.
But I think town council's is pretty straightforward. And then now Amanda and I are still supposed to be working on the general plan to get the, draft out to everyone, which, we would definitely want input on. But regarding ordinances, I think everyone else is at least gonna do a first pass before it would be presented to you all.
Okay.
And more of it's an FYI and less of a working sense,
Awesome.
Let's have general plan update on our agenda for that work session, so that if Amanda has a few things to run by us, that would be fine. That'd be a good time to do it. She can say, hey, here's one we got stuck on or something, whatever. So I'll put that. I can't read my writing, but I think I wrote general plan on here. Okay, anybody else with comments for next agenda? And then our last item is the other column. And as I mentioned to you earlier, I had put my little planning and zoning amongst neighbors discussion, but we moved it up. So I have nothing under other. Does anyone else?
There was the email about the radiological, let me look exactly what it was called.
Yeah.
This calendar. Radiological risks and nuclear energy intergovernmental working session on Friday, the 22nd, held here at the community center. And I went ahead and RSVP'd, and if with myself attending, we can have one other commissioner attend because it is a closed meeting, and because of that, we have to follow the Public Meetings Act. So if anyone else decides to attend, it can only be one.
Well, I won't be back home till late on Fridays, so I won't sign up for it.
Okay. Perfect. That is all I have.
And we're having a hard enough time figuring out wind and solar. If you think we're going to start on nuclear, you're out of your mind.
I don't. I think I'm more so attending as a town employee, but because I'm also a commissioner, it could violate those laws.
Right, right. No, I think it's great. I think all of us should be as open to all of these networks of information, because if someone came to us and said, I have this little handheld nuclear reactor, you could say, oh, well, I just heard about those and they don't work, or whatever. Okay, Erin, go.
One circle back. So Gary doesn't have OneDrive. So if you're also finding you don't have OneDrive, let me know and I'll submit an IT ticket for you, which could be what's going on with you, Marcia, maybe,
Oh.
possibly. And then two early stages, but I'm trying to get it out there. Pancake breakfast fundraiser will be on September 13th from 8 to 10 a.m. And we're adding an additional element this year of a silent auction to try to garner more funds for EMS, which is what this year's fundraiser is supporting, since clearly we are really having trouble getting folks signed up and trained and everything. So pancake breakfast on Saturday, September 13th, more information to come.
A suggestion, if you're doing any kind of auctioning where you want people, set it for a particular time so we all come get breakfast at that time and don't spread ourselves out like we normally do, so that we know to be wherever you're auctioning if that happens.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Marcia, just one comment, and I should have mentioned this during the Zoom discussion, but we got a Zoom invite to a meeting today. Jim did on our business computer, just as we were doing all of this and just as our addresses are going out. It was definitely a scam. So
Okay, right.
that since we're fresh to Zoom, don't assume that it's really coming from the town. It said it was from Zoom, but it was from Germany or something. So,
Achtung, all
keep
right.
your eyes open.
Sounds good. Report
Thank-
fishing.
Yep, thank you for the warning. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, does anyone have any other comments or questions for our schedule? For our
Motion to adjourn.
I heard it. I have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I second it. There's not many of us here.
I can second. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned at 6:52 p.m. Thank you all so much. And thanks to the Zoom
Recording
mods.
stopped.
Have a lovely evening, everyone. Good night.
Thanks, you too.
Take care over there.
Yep.
Bye.